Before we get into today's show, if you, like me, are upset with Jerry Jones, then show it in the comments section so he can see it. Type me in the comments section right now. Today's Cowboys Report, all about Deion Sanders and also Shedeur Sanders. Hopefully the last time we do this, but I have my doubts on that. Thanks pretty much entirely to ESPN. The Deion Sanders Cowboys head coach rumors, storyline, ideas are very much back. It was started by Rex Ryan, who said, quote, Deion Sanders may be in play here. They need something. They need something that has pride in that damn organization. Being a Dallas Cowboy and the pride you take in it. And by the way, Deion and everywhere he has been kicking you know what. What happened here was Rex Ryan talking about former NFL players getting to be head coaches elsewhere, throws out Deion and the Cowboys, but he doesn't actually have inside information here. He's not a reporter. That's not what he's trying to do, by the way. That was not how it was framed from Rex Ryan. It was just an idea. Hey, maybe Deion makes some sense. That is not how Rex Ryan framed it. That is how the aggregators have presented it. And it is a little frustrating to see that. It's basically just analyst says, what about this name? Rex Ryan says Deion Sanders isn't playing for the Dallas Cowboys. That's not what he meant. That's not what he even tried to say. You can go watch the audio clip. That's not how it was presented. That's not what Rex Ryan was trying to do. Doesn't matter because it's Deion and it's the Cowboys and it's ESPN and it's the number one story because that's how it always seemingly goes here. I have a lot more thoughts on Deion Sanders, and I'm very much set in stone in how I feel about this potential idea. Would you hire Deion Sanders as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? This will be the pinned comment, by the way, on today's show. If an ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage, go vote. If you want to wait a little bit to see what I say, that's fine as well. The ad's going to come here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes or N for no. I'm going to preface this by saying Deion Sanders is my all-time favorite player. I loved everything about him back when I was growing up and his brief time with the Dallas Cowboys. I am a big fan of what his results have been at Colorado. He's got the Buffs looking like an actual Big 12 championship potential team. That's very impressive. I say all of that to say this. Deion Sanders, as the Dallas Cowboys head coach in 2025, is a horrible, terrible, no good, disastrous idea. The Dallas Cowboys are already a circus. There's always something beyond the football going on in Dallas. Adding Deion to that mix is increasing the level of disaster that is waiting to happen. It is tossing a gasoline canister onto an already going fire and then taking a gun and shooting it and causing an explosion. It's not gonna work well. The brand is already too much of a focus in too many ways for the Dallas Cowboys as an organization. That just gets worse with Deion. That just amplifies the bad you're going to run into. And I get that Jerry Jones likes Deion Sanders. I like the job he's doing in Colorado too. I would not be shocked if Jerry Jones called Deion because Jerry's a wild card with this head coaching search. Those two, that dynamic, it might work as player and GM and owner. It is not going to work as owner and GM as head coach. That is not going to mesh. That is not going to fit well. Deion doesn't fit as an NFL head coach. His style doesn't work. He's not a schematics guy. He can be a motivator, but his motivation style works with college kids, not NFL players. And Deion Sanders knows that. He has publicly said that is the case when he says he doesn't want to coach in the NFL. This is the quote straight from Prime. I don't have any desire or ambition to coach in the NFL. I have a problem with men getting their checks and not doing their jobs. I would be too tough as a coach in the NFL because I still have those old school attributes. It's a little bit of a self-serving quote. That's how it is with Deion. That's fine when the results are good. Let Deion be a college head coach. Let him keep his eyes on that Florida State job down the line if you can mend some bridges down there. Go get a real NFL head coach instead. That is a far better path than adding another giant ego to your organization. It's a bad idea waiting to happen that just gets you more headlines. There'll be a different headline every day about the owner and the head coach, and I don't want to keep doing that whole story. Now, unfortunately, I'm actually not yet done on the Sanders, whatever the plural is of Sanders. I don't know if it's Sanders is, whatever the proper grammatical stuff is there. We'll break that down in just a second. But first, today's show, look, the Cowboys season's in the toilet. Perfect time to unveil our new sponsor. It's Tushy. The Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing or electricity. Washing with a precise stream of fresh water removes 99% of bacteria compared to wiping with toilet paper. Installation is simple and takes about 10 minutes to complete. Truly, anyone can do it. People who have made the switch to Tushy, like I have, use up to 80% less toilet paper. No more clogged toilets. Save your money and your ass at the same time. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. Give the gift of practical luxury this holiday season that benefits everyone in your household. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com/chat with promo code CHAT. Don't forget to give us a shout while you're there and let them know we sent you. Go to hellotushy.com/chat for the best gift this holiday season. Back to the not great results on the field for this team. Stephen A. Smith took the Sanders plural conversation even further, saying, I'm going to make people very uncomfortable here. I believe the Dallas Cowboys should tank the rest of the season, get the number 1 overall pick, so you can draft Shedeur Sanders, and by the way, hire Prime Time Deion as your head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, what Stephen A. Smith is doing here is simply recycling his old take from the preseason. This frankly makes zero sense right now for this edition of the Dallas Cowboys roster, of this Dallas Cowboys team, of the organization. I actually like Shedeur as a quarterback prospect. He'll probably be my number 1 QB. Season's not over yet, so I don't like putting things in stone there. But I also would like to get him away from Dad, actually, and let him be in his own bubble and not alongside his father as the head coach. Together in Dallas, this is not a 3-ring circus. I don't know what the record amount of rings is, 6 or 7. That's what we're going for here. He also didn't mention the whole quarterback thing. The only way you start to get this into the, because you can't have both. That's bad. Is you try to trade Dak Prescott, which doesn't actually make any sense. There's a lot of things that just don't fit at all with the way you have things set up. Let's look at Dak's contract. Now, right now, the cap hit is $89 million next year. It is by far higher than any year remaining on Dak's contract. Part of that is you're still paying out some of the previous deal. Also, it's designed to be restructured. You restructure the cap hit, it drops down to 52. That's still more than you want, but the salary cap's going to jump by another $20 million, so it's actually okay in the end. If you trade Dak Prescott this offseason, the cap hit you take is $103 million. Who here wants to pay $103 million to not have Dak Prescott on your roster? Even if you're a hater, that doesn't really sound like a good idea for you, does it? Here in general is all the different reasons why paying or taking a quarterback in round 1 is stupid for this team. You have paid your top 10 quarterback. Didn't pick a top 10 quarterback this year, was a top 2 quarterback last year. Even it out, still have your top 10 guy once he comes back from injuries. Injuries are a valid concern, by the way. The massive dead cap hit should be a non-starter for you. And I would frankly be willing to overlook those first 2 points if this wasn't a bad quarterback class. I like Shedeur. There are things that make Cam Ward fun, even though he's a gunslinger. Jalen Milroe's a freak athlete. The list is very short, by the way. There is no Caleb Williams. There is no Joe Burrow. There is no Trevor Lawrence-esque prospect. If there were one of those guys, you could talk yourself into it. This quarterback class, there's not going to be a round 1 grade for me. And the general consensus is there's not going to be a round 1 grade either. Like, my boy Dane Brugler had Shedeur at like 20 on his big board. That's very telling. You also don't get to benefit, because you've paid your quarterback, from the rookie contract benefits. That's a huge reason why you try to get that quarterback early, because you get to have a cheap quarterback. You don't get those benefits if you take one right now. And frankly, as I would like to believe we've seen the past few weeks, and if not years, you got much bigger roster holes. You can take a better player at a bigger roster need. Come on, that just makes sense. Look, Stephen A. is a great actor. He is an elite entertainer, even though it's very frustrating from the Cowboys angle there. Objectively speaking, he's not a good ball knower. He's not a contract guy either. He doesn't understand how contracts work. That's fine. That's not his job. That's my job to understand how they work. The Cowboys' best path is actually very clear, whether you like it or not. You need to be aggressive in this 4-ish year window. You can pull the plug a year early if you want to. You can try to extend the window if he stays healthy and looks and doesn't show any signs of decline at the end of his contract. It's the ish side of it. Taking a quarterback early with what your options are isn't a logical idea nor a good idea. It's frankly a non-starter for me. You want to go tank for somebody? Let's go tank for Travis Hunter. That I'm on board with. Quarterback, that race already been run. Now, in what certainly feels like an inevitable head coaching search for the Dallas Cowboys, we will have you covered. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Back to the Deion Sanders side of things. You might have seen the headline of, wow, Deion's the betting favorite for the Cowboys head coach. Maybe. Depends on where you look. Bet Online has Prime at plus 1,000 with Mike Vrabel as your betting favorite at plus 300. Then Ben Johnson, then Bill Belichick, then Brian Flores, then Lane Kiffin is plus 1,000 for reasons that don't make any sense. Matt Nagy, which I will drop toasters because that didn't work in Chicago. Why would it work in Dallas? Bovada had Deion as even money. Mike Vrabel was then plus 375. Then also Ben Johnson, Bill Belichick, Brian Flores, which probably isn't an accident that that's the order that those go in. I will explain why in just a second. You kind of don't need to pay that close attention to the early betting odds here. Who do you want as the Cowboys' next head coach? Maybe it's Mike Vrabel. Talk about him in a second, too. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. These way too early lines from all these offshore books, those are just marketing tools designed to get you to tweet out, hey, per a certain site, this is the betting favorite. You can bet on it. 0 interviews have happened. This is not even like, hey, who's going to be the number 1 overall pick futures. Like, this can be viewed as a decent list of names to monitor. Sure. They're just going on what the speculation's been. It's not a surprise to see many of those names high on that list. I think Mike Vrabel is a pretty logical fit. He's tight with Stephen Jones. He's a former head coach. I think both of those things are key factors in this search. Bill Belichick. I mean, how many times have we talked about him? Every NFL team wants Ben Johnson. I don't know if the Cowboys will. I'm worried they're going to screw that part up, but is what it is. You can even expand that list of 10, and you can see some really stupid names on there. Emmitt Smith is an option. These are joke names of like, haha, we put Emmitt Smith on there. Aren't we silly? Like, it's not designed to be serious and like actually bettable. That's just like, if you want to give us $5, we'll take your free $5 type of deal. Like that's all that is. Don't read into them as like, oh, Vegas knows. Vegas doesn't know right now. There's nothing to know quite yet.